Hello and welcome to Nailed It Intuition and Tarot. I am Torch and I'm super happy to be here today with you to bring you this full moon reading. I am actually recording this the day after the full moon, February 2nd, 2026. I was going through a little bit of the motions myself, and so I needed a minute to let the energy settle inside of me before reading for you all. So apologies that this is late. However, we'll go ahead and get the reading started. So just remember that tarot messages and intuitive messages are all for entertainment purposes only. Use your own judgment, wisdom, and guidance when listening, and take what resonates and disregard what does not. So for this reading, I'm going to be using the Denise Linn Sacred Destiny Oracle, the Baroque Tarot, and the Messages from the Universe. So I will speak the invocation while shuffling the cards. So I'm calling in the presence of the Most High Creator, living within us and permeating all of creation and consciousness to join me now. I welcome you and your holy ones of the highest vibration into this space. Any energies or entities that are not as mentioned are not welcome here and must leave now. Our souls have a plan, and through this reading, may obstacles to our soul's plan be removed so that we may shine our brightest light out into the world. And may the roads which lead to the manifestation of our highest desires be now open and swift. Please guide the understanding of those listening to only receive what is meant for them without perversion. And may my understanding and speech be plain and clear, so that only what is needed to bring truth, clarity, peace, hope, wisdom, love, and joy is spoken. And so it is uttered, and so it is done. All right, so we're gonna start with a Sacred Destiny Oracle card so we can just see what is the energy of the Leo full moon that we are being tapped into at this time. So thank you so much for your wisdom and guidance. Okay, we have action. All right, so there is something that we have been called to have some action, something that we are being called to get started. And at the bottom, we have the flow with the moon sitting there at the top of this card. All right, so we are definitely tapped in to the moon energy for this reading. I love that that showed up for us today. Okay. All right, so let's get some clarifying energy from the tarot. Clarifying energy from the tarot. Please tell us more about what we're coming into for this Leo full moon. Thank you so much for your wisdom, for your guidance. Thank you so much for the wisdom and guidance within us all. Okay, so we got a bunch of cards out on the deck today. All right, so what we have here is the King of Wands, the Seven of Wands, the Two of Cups in reverse, and the Two of Swords. Okay. All right, and let me just try to get one more card on the table. I might get 5 because that's how my guides tend to. I ask for one card and they give me 12. But can I have one more card, please? Okay. And we got the Queen of Swords. All right. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the Queen of Wands. All right. So what I feel here is that there's been some power that you're being initiated into at this time with the Queen of Wands at the bottom of the deck and the King of Wands. I feel like you had a seed planted some time ago that really had a lot to do with like your soul purpose, your soul passion, something that you've really been excited about to get started. And maybe you've just been kind of going with the flow up until now and you just haven't really set any strategy forward to actually achieve what or you know, make steps toward whatever this goal is. Okay, and I do feel like it's very much aligned with your soul and your purpose, because we have the action card here with this sun at the top. And so, you know, we can see that there are clouds covering the sun here. So what I'm feeling from this is that there's something that you have been wanting to come out of the closet, so to speak, like something that you've been hiding, something that you haven't felt super comfortable up until now to be able to express. And maybe you feel that there have been not the right circumstances or not the right situation, you know, something here feels out of alignment with you, which is why maybe you have felt like you have not really been able to show yourself in this moment. And so what I feel first and foremost is that with this action card showing, whatever you have felt intuitively, whatever you have felt really nudging at your spirit and at your soul, that this is something that you need to do, you want to do, it has to get done. Like, it feels a little bit like an emergency to me. That is what you are actually being called here with the King of Wands, to actually come up with a plan to start to do this. And it's not even that you need to have so much of a plan because it's the Wands energy. I feel like you just need to do it. And so, like, you need to take the first step. And so this has the feeling of, you know, not really knowing, maybe, you know, not seeing like all 10 steps or all 20 steps or everything from A to Z, but maybe you know the first couple things just to get yourself started. You're being asked with this to go ahead and start doing those first couple of things. You know, I like to think of this energy a bit as like motion lights. You know, as you walk, the lights illuminate, okay? So you're not gonna see the whole path as it's laid out right now, but as you walk, the lights will start to turn on. And with the Seven of Wands here, you know, I feel that maybe there's some energies that have been that you feel like you have to fight up against, like you're up against some forces here, and I'm starting to think that it's people, because we have the Two of Cups in reverse. So whether this is a romantic relationship that you are involved in that you feel like is not in alignment with you achieving this goal, or maybe your partner has differing opinions on whether or not you should or should not be doing this thing that you feel like your soul is calling you to do, or whether you feel that this relationship is unsustainable if you choose this particular path. So you're getting some type of interference here with people in your life. If this is not a romantic partnership, this could just be anyone that is super close to you who you have a loving relationship with. I feel like maybe your desire to do this may have you at odds with the people that you know, the people that you love and care about, you know, friends or family, because, you know, there seems to be a difference of opinion. Like with the Two of Swords here, there's kind of this I don't know energy. Like, I don't know where we go from here. I don't know what the future holds. I don't, you know, like there's some uncertainty that either you're feeling or this person in your environment is feeling. And you feel a little bit like your back is up against a wall, or that you've just got a lot of things coming up against you in order to defend this goal, or to defend what actually it is that you're trying to do here. All right, we've got the Knight of Cups, the Emperor card, the Eight of Wands, and the Queen of Swords. Okay, and so I feel like this Knight of Cups, this Knight is just showing me that, you know, you're pursuing this is not optional. Okay, this is something your heart wants. This is something your soul wants. But even more than that, excuse me, I feel like this, like your pursuit of this, it's bringing you closer to how you're gonna feel like recognized and acknowledged as a soul. Okay, I'm also feeling some different and new connections coming in for you as you walk this path moving forward, and as you take the action steps toward actually materializing this goal. As you take action steps towards it, I feel like there's going to be some new connections coming in for you that will feel more aligned with where you're headed. Okay, Emperor, Eight of Wands, and Queen of Swords here. So with the Eight of Wands falling underneath the Two of Cups, you know, and the Queen of Swords here, I do feel like, you know, you are going to have to defend and stand up for yourself a bit with this. You know, this Queen of Swords is giving me the energy like, I'm doing this by any means necessary. I'm gonna tell anyone, I'm gonna stand up for myself. And it also has the energy of, you know, there's a bit of grit and determination that I'm feeling with the Queen of Swords here, and as well as the Emperor. You're being asked to truly come into your power and stand up in your power, because something about how you are moving with this has been a bit you taking a back seat to your dreams, and you allowing like other people or circumstances to kind of dictate how you feel in your pursuit of this goal. Okay. I get the feeling with this Two of Cups card, you know, being in reverse, that you are willing to make the appropriate sacrifices in your relationships in order to achieve this. I also feel that anything else that you were yoked to energetically, so say for instance, you know, you had a job that you were just doing because you were good at it, but you didn't really love it. Or, you know, you had a relationship that you maintained, but it wasn't really fulfilling. Like there was some, I want to say, contract that you had in your life that, that you had yoked yourself to, that I feel like you're realizing, you know, number one, it wasn't fulfilling you from the start, and you've kind of got to let your hands go of it all. And what's replacing it is this internal desire that you have to finally start pursuing the things that are truly resonant with you, and that are truly what you feel called to do in this life. All right. And again, Emperor here, by any means necessary. You know, I feel such a sense of urgency behind this, which is giving me and lots of ideas coming at you. You know, your spirit feels a bit restless here, with just kind of like constant nudges, constant, hey, like if your spirit is, it's a spiritual equivalent of like tapping you on the shoulder, or like, you know, when my dog is coming up to me asking to be petted, like, hey, remember me, like it has that kind of feeling to it. And so I do feel you coming into a bit more strategy when it comes to this. I want to read the meaning of the action card from the book. All right, so when this shows up in a reading, a shift is coming. The time is now. Don't hesitate. Face your fear. Do it anyway. When big changes on the horizon, it's time to take action. Of course, there are times to deliberate and carefully consider your next step, but not now. Now is the time to take immediate action. Look for it with a calm, steely gaze, and then forge ahead with clarity, determination, power, and grace. Quicken your spirit by making decisions now. Even if you aren't 100% certain of your decision right now, it is better to make any choice than no choice at all. And so I love that it mentioned this, and what it is giving me with this flow card. This is definitely reminiscent of the moon energy, which is which is perfect on this full moon, because you know, with the moon card, a lot of times there are fears, there are things kind of hidden under the surface. You know how these clouds are kind of covering the sun. So whatever is sitting in these clouds could represent some fear, some anxiety, some worries that you have. Can I perform? Will anybody like me? Will you know, what relationships can I maintain? You know, are you going to get any validation in what you're doing? And, you know, it's not that these aren't like legitimate concerns, you know, but your fears are not a reason to not do something. And usually in the doing of it, those fears become non-fears. Okay. Like they lessen your grip on you as your confidence develop, as your strategy, you know, as you're able to shapeshift and pivot. You know, if you hit a roadblock, you pivot, try something different. If you hit a plateau, add on, you know, as you get comfortable, step by step, day by day. You know, there's a very like methodical and strategic approach that I feel coming in here. But the idea is you have to do something. Like the time is definitely now. And this moon energy, or any concerns or worries or fears that you have coming up, you know, I really do think there's fears about something that you used to be yoked to in the past, whether it's a person or an activity or a hobby or something else like that, that you really thought, you know, where you were previously in the Two of Cups upright energy, but now it's kind of lost its zest, it's lost its flair, because you have outgrown that version of you that liked that thing, you know? Sometimes we go through different seasons, you know? So for example, in my life, you know, I've probably had a different partner for all the different versions of me, you know? And so as you are stepping into this new version of you, this confident version of you, it has the feeling that what used to satisfy you, what used to taste good to you, it doesn't do it anymore. You know, it's like, you know, I don't like beer no more. I like craft beer. Or, you know, I can't just drink any vodka. I need top shelf. I'm not, you know, of course, this is an analogy, all right? But, you know, sometimes you can really like something, and then later on at some point, it just doesn't agree with you anymore. You know, like it'll have you, you know, constipated spiritually or physically. And in order to keep this flow, keep this energy going, something needs to shake, something needs to move. And so I also feel like this is like allowing what needs to fall away to just go ahead and fall away. And there's gonna be lots of, you know, reinforcements, okay? Spiritual reinforcements, more ideas, more inspiration coming towards you. And there's something here also about using your voice and just really starting to declare things over your life and over yourself. Because with this Two of Swords energy and the Queen of Swords being up underneath it, I feel like, you know, wherever there has been indecision, wherever there has been doubt, or just a lack of clarity, you're going to start to push through that. You're going to start to declare things over your life, declare, you know, a new consciousness, a new narrative. Okay, I feel the internal dialogue starting to shift here as well, to speak out into time, space, the ether, the dimensions, you know, what it is that you are trying to be or become. Okay, so this is really solid energy for this full moon in Leo. And, you know, as I think about the archetype of the lion kind of, you know, being in its brightest light, and even Leo season is when the sun is in its brightest light, there's a strong amount of authenticity that this moon is calling us into. So if you've been hiding, if you have been, you know, backed into a corner, if you have felt your voice or your power muted or suppressed, you know, you have to unsuppress that in yourself first, like in your thought life and how you talk to yourself before this can be unsuppressed in the ether. You know, it's reminding me of that Bible verse that says, you know, woman, thou art loosed. Okay, so if you can feel yourself like being loosed, it's up to you to loose yourself. Okay, because that's what this moon is trying to get you to do, to shake it off, to dust your shoulders, to break the chains. Okay, they're ready. Something in you is ready to be seen, to be heard, and this new version of you is ready to come out. So definitely, you know, let yourself be seen. Okay, I'm gonna take this one at the bottom too. In your journey, there will be times when you feel lost, confused, lonely, and angry. These are times of transition. You won't feel those emotions forever. You are transitioning to a better, stronger version of yourself. Shed away these unneeded layers and keep growing. And then also here we have, in relationships, the biggest thing you must look for is consistency. Every time you forgive someone who is not being consistent with you, you are giving them permission to hurt you again. You deserve better. Okay? So someone listening to this needs to hear this message in particular about the Two of Cups card being in reverse. There's something that's out of resonance here. You know it's not right. So just go ahead and, you know, let bygones be bygones and move forward with you. If you've got you, that's everything you need. Okay, so thank you so much. If you like how I read and my messages, please hit the subscribe button, like, share, and comment on this video. Here are her nails. I'm getting them redone tomorrow, so I'll have a new design up for you coming soon. Okay, thanks so much. Take really good care. Bye-bye.